Hi everyone, my name is Ari. I'm Dutch and I've been learning Russian for the last 5 years. In that time, I've been to Russia about 10 times, more or less, I think a little bit more. And I noticed a lot of things that Russian people just do differently than Dutch or Western people in general. And I made a video about that in Russian, but since the video, like people really like watching it, so I decided to also do it in English instead of the usual more language-oriented topics here. So let's just get started about 5 interesting Russian habits that I think that they're doing well compared to the most Western countries. So the first thing that I really liked is that in winter in Russia, people always turn on the heating very, very well, which means that I don't know exactly in Fahrenheit, but I'll know it in Celsius. For example, here in Holland, a lot of the houses, and I know this is general in Europe, especially in Western Northern Europe, the houses aren't that warm. Like 18 degrees in the house, I'm still, sitting with a sweater. But in Russia, most of the time, like if in winter you enter a house, you can actually sit there in your shorts, in your t-shirts, because it's just the 22, 23, 24, maybe even warmer. And every time I go to Russia in winter, I really notice that I cannot sleep at night if I don't completely open the window, even though it's minus 10, minus 20, because otherwise it's just too warm for me to sleep. And I think this mainly comes because people told me that in Soviet times, in all these high-rise, typical Soviet living buildings, there was the how to say, the state did the heating, so people could not turn it on or turn it off themselves. So since there was a lot of gas, the state just made everything really warm. And yeah, so people had to open their windows as well to make sure it doesn't become like 24 degrees during winter in your house, because that's just too much. All right, so the second thing that I noticed is that, and I really like this, we don't do this here in Holland, and I think in a lot of Western countries as well, is that in Russia, once you enter a house, like you basically virtually always take off your shoes. That's just because, yeah, I don't know, it's just a very good habit. You just take off your shoes, and if you go somewhere as a guest, then most of the time they'll give you some of those topki slippers, or just like some warm socks that you can wear, just so that the house stays clean. In general, in Russia, they value very much if the house is clean. So I think this is one of the, just things to make sure that all the guests that are coming are not making the entire house dirty. So let's say the third thing that I wrote down. Yeah, third thing, just said it right. Is that Russian people are very hospitable. So that means if you come there as a guest, that there are very big chances that, like the first time I came to Russia, and the parents of my girlfriend, they just, like I entered the house and there was this huge table and there was so much food and just interesting stuff that I've never seen before, and so much tasty stuff to drink, that, and also got some presents from them and everything. So, and I've noticed it's not just there, like everywhere you go as a guest, people are very hospitable. Like, everything that they have in the house, you can, they will offer you almost like that. Whereas here in Holland, if you go as a guest somewhere, they might give you like a little sandwich if you ask for it, and that's it, and a cup of coffee and a cookie. Whereas in Russia, people are like they really value that you came as a guest. Well, if you're a good person, I guess. But so that yeah, I really like that, and there's a lot of tasty food. And this is basically the fourth habit thing that they do better than than a lot of Western countries. That they got very, very, very tasty soups and salads. Because here in Holland, and I've noticed this in some other other Western countries as well. But there's just, if there's soup somewhere, it's just like a watery bouillon, like they say that. And if it's a salad, it's just tomato, cucumber, and some lettuce there. And in Russia, there's so many different types of cool salads, like salad oливье, селедка под шубой, and окрошка, some of the two. And those are just very interesting. Like many people that come there from the West, you've never ever tasted something like this before, and it's just a completely different experience. And the same thing for soups. Like if you have a soup, it's like a meal soup. It's not just something that you have a little bit, before dinner to make sure that your stomach is already a little full before the main course starts or to warm up. No, you can eat the soup like borscht, just as a complete dish basically, because there's so much, calorie rich stuff in there. And the fifth habit that I really like in Russia is that they have some sort of creative thinking, in that, if something is forbidden to do, if something is written there, it's forbidden, and people always, instead of blindly accepting it, they kind of try to find their way around it in a way that doesn't, that you can still kind of do it. Whereas here in Holland, and I notice in other Western countries as well, that if something says, the States or somewhere, like, you cannot do this, then, people earlier blindly accept it, and then later complain about it, that it's like that. Whereas in Russia, they got a more creative approach to doing those things. And I think in Russian it's called Ruska Smikalka. So those are 5 things that I think people in the West could learn from Russian people. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day.